With Janice Cobb of Save My Pet ID Tag, engraved with your pet's info, they allow emergency personnel to start care for your pets if you're sick or injured. Head over to SaveMyPetIDTag.com and explore products. They ensure peace of mind for you and for your four-legged family.
Our special guest today is an expert in both dogs and babies and cats. She's a real mama and a dog whisperer. And at this time, let's please give pause and applause to our special guest, Aen Cronin. Welcome to the show, Aen.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this. This is great.
This is the first time I've ever had anybody on that knows both diapers and doggy doo for 200, Aen. Come on.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of cleaning up around here. There's a lot between actually what's so funny is when on my social media, when I do a cleaning video, I get a lot more views than when I do a training video. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah, they definitely are. So,
well, everybody, after the show, I do want you to check out her site. It is called babypackleader.com. You're out of Arizona, so it's pretty hot there right now, right?
It is. I think today is like 114.
Oof. And that's not even with the index, kind of zip it up. So we want to roll back the tape. Aen, when you were younger, did you say, oh, one day I'm going to grow up and specialize in kids and pets? That's a pretty tough assignment.
No, I had a dog that had a lot of issues. I found him on the side of the road in Long Beach, and I went on a mission to learn how to help him, which led me to a lot of different educators and opportunities. And I started a dog training business from that. And then about 8 years in, we hit COVID, and I said, hey, I also got married somewhere in there.
Oh, and I said a little fact. Well, what was the name of the dog that kind of inspired you?
His name was Titan. He was the dog you're afraid to pass on the street. And I had a lot of people tell me that, the options I could explore with him, and very few of those options included teaching him to be a good member of society. But I persevered, and I found the right educators and the people that I could learn from, and a language to communicate with him. And I got to keep him and live a great life with him. And he was the inspiration for our pack. And then, COVID hit, and my husband and I said, now is the time. Let's start a family. And all of a sudden I had this huge training business, this big, we weren't doing a lot of boarding, but we did have a pack walk program, which meant that we would pick dogs up, walk them, and then bring them back home at the end of the day. And that just exploded during COVID.
Because people were doing their business on Zoom, and they needed somebody to let the dog relieve themselves, and not during a big major meeting with your boss.
Yeah. And we all needed a break from each other. You know what I mean? So we got out and we hiked and we walked and we had a lot of fun. And I just started to bring my daughter along, but it opened up a lot of questions about safety and who was appropriate to be on what level with her, and and all of those things.
Talk about your two kids. Who are they? What's their name them, and who's the oldest?
I have Charlie is my girl. She is 3.5 now. Mm-hmm. She is the OG baby pack leader. She keeps all of the dogs in line. I don't know if you've ever hung out with a 3-year-old, but they're pretty bossy.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have a 1.5-year-old. His name is Rowan.
Nice.
And he is like our sweetest pie little guy. Like, he is just smiling all of the time. He loves the dogs. If we ever have them in the car together, both of them will either bark or say hi, or we have a Doberman, and my daughter always goes, it's Moses with the pointy ears. And it's,
oh my God, is
amazing,
that the dog's name, Moses? Or I thought it was,
yeah, the dog's name is Moses, but
Moses with it. So you started this company, and everybody, you got to check it out, because you have a lot of modules. You have online courses. You are a mama. Yeah. And you are a person that knows dogs. And I think your mission is to make sure that kids and toddlers and dogs can interact safely, because people get scared about dog bites, and kids at 3, it's really, you can't teach them things. So you're taking on a pretty important mission, Aen.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of support online. We have our online Bringing Home Baby course where we try to help people prepare for the types of things that will happen when baby comes home. And I want people to understand that it is a progression. The baby just doesn't get out and start walking. We feel like we don't have time. We just have to be very intentional with our time and our education. And as much as I want kids to be safe, I want dogs to stay in their home.
I really like that. So you actually have, I think it's called BPL, Baby Pack Leader Baby Boot Camp, and it's 21 days. And this is more for people about to or the baby's coming home and there's already a dog in the house. Yeah. And I love that. And you also, if they live near you and they're checked out, the dogs, mama has a baby and the temper tested dog hangs out at your house for about 5 days?
Yeah, we have a program where we get a call and they say, today's the day. We're either headed to the hospital or having our C-section or whatever. We come and we get the dogs. We bring them to our house. They get to play, drain energy. Basically, we want to reduce the amount of stress that's created when mom and dad are absent. And so we also, at the end of that, help them come home and we introduce the dog to the baby. So we help people with that big so scary introduction. Everyone's like, what do we do? How do we do it? Yeah. Well, we're there to assist so that everyone feels comfortable and at peace. And then when we leave, it's like you've robbed a bank. And everyone's like, we've got this baby. They just let us take it home and our dog is here. And, so we're there to just help people feel really comfortable in that transition.
I like that. Well, can you give, there's the traditional professional pet sitter comes, knocks on your door, does a meet and greet and walks the dog, feeds the dog, takes care of the kitties. But you're actually being pretty creative and innovative by offering this boarding for the dog as the parents become parents and they're transitioning. That first 5 days, you've got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, it really is just about helping, when we leave and we can't explain to the dogs where we're going, sometimes, that can be really stressful for them. So my job is to make sure they have a clear understanding of what I want them to do while they're with me. And that is, one, have fun. Doing things with other dogs, socializing, playing, maybe swimming. And then we also like to have them around our kids and we do little sessions with the kids. And so if we do see something that's concerning, we can go to the parents and say, hey, this was something I saw in my home and this is how I handled it. And then that way to them, they don't feel blindsided. It helps them create a plan. And when we have a plan, it reduces stress for the dog. And most dogs don't want to bite. They just don't have another way to say, hey, I'm not feeling comfortable right now. Could somebody help me? They only know how to say,
pulling on my ears and looking at, giving me a stare down, right?
Yes, heavy eye contact from the kids. That's really difficult for dogs. It's either an invitation for, affection, or for some dogs, that can feel very confrontational.
So how quickly, we got about a minute left before our break. What's one tip you can give parents? Because you can't train the toddler at that age. It's more about training the dog to restrain or be diverted, right?
Yeah, I would absolutely say if there was one thing you could teach your dog is that when they feel uncomfortable, they have the option to exit. So show them where all of the exits are, that if they ever feel like they can't handle a situation, they know how to leave and they know where to go.
So they might show what signs, like lip licking. What would be some signs that you would say, okay, River, you get to go stage left?
Well, it depends. If it's a sensitive dog, they might be, have a tucked tail. They might be turning their head away, displaying avoidance. If it's an overexcited dog who just shouldn't be that close to the kids, that's my River. He's pretty clear. He's like, if I could just get my tongue in that baby's mouth, I would be so happy. And so we are the active ones saying, no, we're not doing that. You can come back when you can keep all four on the floor and respect everybody's space.
I like that. I like that. Hey, everyone, we are speaking with Aen Cronin. She knows dogs. She knows babies. She knows toddlers. And she's here to keep everybody safe and in the home. And we're going to take a quick break. You know the drill, guys. You know it. Sit, stay. We'll be right back.
Hey, have you heard? Four-Legged Life has a new digital newsletter. Here, let me show you how you get yourself subscribed. So you just type in 4-legged life, and that'll take you to the website. There we go. And this magic thing just appears, and you type in your email address. I'll use, let's see, how about coolestdogever@gmail.com. That's me. And then you just click on this thing here. There you go. It's the new digital newsletter from 4-Legged Life. Get subscribed today.
I'm having a good time talking with our guest. She is Aen Cronin, and check her out, babypackleader.com. I love this because you're filling a need. You are living proof that toddlers can live with dogs. So you've always had dogs. You had a dog training background and pet sitting and all that. And the womb came a knocking with Charlie, right?
Yeah.
So how much was, from what you've experienced with your you've got 2 toddlers, Charlie and Rowan, I think people can really relate to you, right?
Yeah, I think the number one thing I hear from mothers when I come into the home and I help is they hear I have this, business and this boarding and the dogs and the kids, and they all say, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it all." And I simply look at them and say, "I don't do it all. I don't." And don't for one second believe that I in any way have a better grasp on managing everything than any other parent. I just have to be really intentional. I have to know when I've hit my, daily limit of what I can put on my plate. I have to be very careful about, regulating my own emotions and taking care of myself. And all of those things go into being able to choreograph it all. I do a lot of choreography, but I can't say I do a lot of, it's not like I do everything every day perfect all the time. I just also know when I can make the choice and say, you know what? I'm not ready for a big family gathering. I don't want to go on a hike with the kids and all of the dogs. I really just want to enjoy family time. I really just want to enjoy my one dog. I've gotten better at learning what I can and cannot do in a day.
I like
staying
that.
in a happy place.
And I think we aren't superhumans, although moms are, but I think you need to know that it's okay to spend 5-10 minute quality time with a dog, and then the dog's tired out or whatever, and then you can tend to your baby or your toddler. And how do you deal with mommy guilt?
I think I just always remind myself that I'm a better mom when I'm feeling good, and I'm a better pet parent when I'm communicating well. And I just make sure that all of the things that I do in a day lead me to be in a place where I can offer that to them. And so sometimes, I may not, my dog may not have 100% of my attention, but the attention that they do have when we're all together is very clear and concise and enjoyable. So rather than trying to cook dinner while the dog's in the kitchen and the kids are screaming and hollering, I just say, you know what? This is like the witching hour. The dog is just going to go rest in his crate for a little bit. And when we have family snuggle time later, it's going to be awesome because I won't be overstimulated and angry from a chaotic dinner hour.
I like that. And what about, you can't tell a toddler to pick up their toys. They're all over the place, and they could be choking hazards. I'm a master in pet first aid. I have my own company, Pet First Aid for You, and we do a lot about the doggy and kitty Heimlich. So how do you kind of keep the room-to-room pet safe and kid safe?
We have some pretty basic rules about where the dog is and is not allowed. So the dogs are not allowed in the kids' rooms. Good. Not that rule is adhered to 100% perfectly, because dogs are not perfect robots, but we do our very best to be consistent with that boundary. And the other, we're very specific about what toys can be where. So even with my 1-year-old, there's certain things that my 3-year-old plays with that my 1-year-old cannot play with.
Give me an example. What would you be talking about? Please don't say knives.
No. My daughter once swallowed a magnet off of a refrigerator.
Oh, nice job, Charlie.
Yeah. Which turns out is only dangerous if they swallow 2. But if they swallowed 1, how do you know if they swallowed 2? So to the emergency room we went. So little things like that. I would say you kind of learn through trial and error a little bit, and then you begin to read the future of, you know what, if I set this here, if I leave this here, I'm either at danger of losing my item, or I'm putting my pet or my kid in danger by not paying attention to what I'm doing. And so also some things, they just get put away for a while. Like if something becomes clearly valuable, we're like, you know what, we'll bring this back out next month. And we do a nice rotation where that interesting thing goes away. And so sometimes it's teaching that like we don't give our dog any stuffed animals to play with on his own. So he doesn't have any stuffies, which means he just doesn't touch any of our kids' stuffies. And that's probably like a big one I hear from parents
like
a lot.
that.
The dog is stealing the baby's, childhood favorite toy or lovey. And so we just say no stuffies. One, they can be dangerous depending on the dog. And two, feelings can get really hurt if the dog puts a hole in our favorite puppy. So we just
I know you're not a PhD psychologist, but you are dealing with toddlers, because what about the intelligence of some dogs versus like a 4 or 5 year old? I mean, there's some dogs out there that are smarter than me, but don't you feel like you've got a pack of toddlers? They just have 2 or 4 legs.
I literally am just managing all of I am managing behaviors constantly. And especially when we have guests in our home, dogs that are here boarding, they may have different rules at home. And so that's why we're very particular about who is allowed to board here and who is not. Because if you have a dog that's going to take an exorbitant amount of time and attention away from everybody else, then it's simply not a good fit. So I think a lot of what makes what we do successful is making really good choices. We've learned the hard way, enough.
Share what you've learned, because if people check out your site, I was very impressed that you have a lot of freebies. You've got something called a BPL toddler tutorial. And I like this one, the staycation, because I love taking my pets on stay vacations in the house with the baby. But you also have a holiday guide and things like that. So you have blogs and you have free guides, but then you also offer some training, right?
Yeah. So our course is all training, and we elaborate there with, these are the basics. Well, how do you teach the basics to a puppy? How do you teach the basics to a sensitive dog? How do you teach the basics to a hyper dog or a senior dog? Yes. They can't hear or see that baby coming all the time. So you have to be their advocate, And so I think being able to say, I understand that we don't all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? Moms
need to sleep.
Yes. Moms are a unique creature that deal with a lot of psychological stress of managing the things at home. These are generalizations, obviously. This is not how every family is. But I want people to understand that I'm not up here saying, hey, you're only going to get out of this what you put into it. And if you don't make any time for your dog, you may as well give your dog away because you're a bad person and you should feel bad about all these things.
Since you don't act that way, that's why you're a guest on our show.
Yeah. I want people to feel that they do have a village and support. And
nice.
Training is expensive. So there to me is very little. I work a lot with people in person, and that obviously is more time consuming, but I love to have the free resources because there is so much that even if that specific detail doesn't exactly apply to you, go ahead and ask me a question. I even just added a free inquiry form where people can go and submit a video. They can type out all of the information that they want. And I answer those questions on Wednesdays on our Instagram.
So that again is babypackleader.com. One thing I do want, because we've got about a minute left, it goes like this.
I know.
You have 2 beautiful 2-leggers, Charlie and Rowan. What is your hope as a mom and as a dog expert that their childhood memories will be having a dog like River?
I hope. Oh, I'm going to cry. That's such a sweet question. I hope that they remember all of the joy that they get from having a pet that they can run through the green space with, that they can laugh with, that they can giggle with. For all of the moments where things have gone sideways, there's 10 moments that I can think of that are filled with laughter and joy and
from both River and your kids, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes. River loves the kids. And I also love the sweet moments where we're on a walk and she takes the leash, right? Where I'm pushing the stroller and I remember when Charlie was a baby and she'd go on these pack walks with us, she always demanded to hold a leash, and that's why she was the inspiration for this. I can think of just like that question alone solicited so many emotional memories for me.
And when she is mom, Charlie's going to remember River. I mean, I don't forget my childhood dog, a beagle, kind of overweight, named Crackers, and would go swimming with us in our backyard lake. So you're establishing safe, wonderful, sweet memories and keeping dogs in their homes. So I want to give you a big pause up. Aen Cronin, please check her out at babypackleader.com. You survived being on our show, Aen.
This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content. Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life.